So my, I don't know why this bugs me, but my subscriber count has really been fluctuating. I got up to 86, I was all happy. It took me a while to get back up to 86, I was losing it. And now I'm back down to 84. So it seems I'm in a kind of a subscriber rut. Judging by what's going on is I'm losing subscribers as I'm gaining subscribers, but I'm losing more than I'm gaining. So it's one of those things. I mean, when it comes to my subscriber count, we're talking about like small numbers, right? And I mean, to me, it's not. Like the fact that 86 people have subscribed to me, or 84, sorry, have subscribed to me, like I'm fucking grateful for. I love that. But, you know, it just makes me wonder. And I know I tend to go on to philosophy and transformation more than actual magic. But, you know, I was put in my head a long time ago by making myself understand it through people like Frederick Xavier and Birch that the mind is more important than actually the spellcraft, like your mindset. Now that could be wrong, but I kind of believe that, you know, if a Christian, I don't want to say Christian, because I think that's, what I'm losing is people that might even have a Christian faith who were able to listen to me. I think I'm losing them slowly, so I don't know, but I could be wrong. But let's say somebody who believes in Jesus, who potentially thinks magic is of the devil, well, if they just go and say some fucking spells, is it going to manifest? No. They don't believe it. They're not going to put emotion into it. Blah, 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 blah. So the mindset, to me, is the most important part. And it's why I talk about it all the time, because if you don't understand how to put emotion into your thought, if you don't know how to do your ritual correctly, if you don't know how to symbolically talk to your subconscious mind, whether that's with a candle like I do most of the time, or it's a sigil on that candle, or some different type of sympathetic magic, whatever it may be, if you don't do that properly, if you're not doing either the affirmation route, doing it over and over and over again, or you are putting emotion into it, you know, if you don't know how to do that, then you're going to be fucked. And that's where the transformation shit comes in. That's where the mindset and the transformation shit comes in, because it teaches you that. By understanding and knowing how to do, you know, okay, let's word this differently, shall we? Fuck that title. I don't know, I could be completely wrong, but I have a feeling that, you know, people assume I'm going to be talking about magic, especially when I write how to manifest or something. Which, you know, I talked about that in my last episode. And to me, things I talk about seem clear to me, but it's because I've been doing these methods, so, you know, whereas someone brand new may not understand exactly or really what I mean. So if they subscribe and like my other show, but then I'm being vague or not getting to the point correctly, or whatever, you know, it's not the end of the world. I still have 84 subscribers, which is more than I ever thought I'd have, so I'm pretty happy and grateful for that. So, you know, that just is as it is. But, for me, it's hard to talk about my specific magic, because I've already talked about it. And I have to say it over and over and over again every time, I guess. But I literally, most definitely, do candle magic almost above everything. I add sigil magic to that. I do reject, banish, deny, because that will help you manifest. That will make you banish away the things you don't want to have in your life, and it'll make you receive the things you do want if you are accepting shit after. So between that practice and the candle magic that, you know, I do because I can wait for, because I'm not in a rush for anything. Fucking OPP behind a fucking truck that talks up there. So because I can wait for it, you know what I mean? Like, if I need something to happen right away, what magic would I use? Well, I would still do a candle. Alright, sorry about that. Wife called. telling me the electrician's going on Monday, but if I get a chance, I'm gonna look at the wires tonight myself and see if I can fix them. I've already looked at them. Because I have all the equipment anyways. Being in the occult, I am very fascinated by electricity and manipulating electricity. As should I be. I am a man, right? I mean, I wouldn't expect girls in the occult. And I could be completely wrong, and I don't mean this in any derogatory term or way at all. Girls that do magic perceive it in a different way. Guys that do magic probably perceive it in a different way. I mean, I don't know, just from the conversations I've had with women, when they describe to me what they think happens, sometimes it's a different perspective, but still accurate, a different way of what I am saying. But I'll explain it more with either electricity or science-y, or what I think is science anyways, kind of terms. So, but, you know, to each his own. But anyway, so yeah, I'm very fascinated with electricity. When I first started getting into this, I was studying stuff night and day. And when I decided to take a little break a few times there, I think I've already talked about it a few times, I would do just experiments. And that's when I managed to get a magnet, water, salt, all that in a cup with a little coiled fucking copper wire there basically tied to the magnet, and then a bunch of salt water in a cup. And then I would get the light bulb into the fucking water, and then bing, the fucking light would go on. So from there I started doing all these other ones, and then I started getting a little too big time. And I was looking at these videos where, because your car's alternator, right? If anybody was ever wondering what's going on with a generator, why is a generator so cool? Why can you power your appliances in your house with a generator? Well, it's alternating current. It's changing the current, right? So your car, your engine in your car has an alternator. That's a very fucking cool piece of fucking equipment if you ask me. It's one of the coolest parts of the car. Because your battery turns on your car, it sends that first spark to the gas, to the pistons, gets everything to work just for one little bit, just to turn over, and then your alternator kicks in and does everything else once it starts, okay? So that's the only thing your battery's for. That's it. And when you're charging your phone with your car off, or you have the radio on with your car off, shit like that. So that's what your alternator's for. So I saw these videos where guys taking the alternator out of their fucking car, brought it in their house, and were able to use the same concept to run the washer, their dryer, the fridge, whatever. Making like any type of generator out of it. Now, a generator is a little different. A generator is like a two-stroke engine that, I mean, it creates electricity. Now, I can't tell you for sure because I don't know for sure. And I was looking into generator making, and I know the answer here, but I don't want to say something stupid and wrong, so I'm just not going to say for sure. But I'm guessing there's an alternator, a type of alternator on there, because it's taking that current and turning it into something. But anyways, the point is, generator, with the gas that you're putting in, instead of spending money on electricity, you're spending it in gas. Okay? That's quite simple. So that's why I say I don't think there's an alternator on it, because you're quite literally using the gas energy. But that's why, like, we can plug all our tools in on site when there's nothing there. But we run out of gas, we run out of electricity. So the gas is basically the electricity at that point. Even though we're using the 110 and on fucking thing and whatever, blah, 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 blah. The point of all that is, this guy, well, there's more than one, and that's why I needed to see that, because like it's more than one, then maybe there's some legitimacy to it. But we only have one or two videos, the guys are kind of fucking weird, then it might be just bullshit to get you to click on their shit. But anyways, these guys were running shit in their house via using car alternators, meaning he would, same concept, start the alternator, similar to the car, using a battery, but once it was started, it was running off its own process. And I forget how you bypass the gas part, because once again, gasoline in your car is what keeps the car going, which is once again why I said I wasn't positive on the whole alternator thing, because I'm kind of back and forth, or about the whole generator thing. But you bypassed the gasoline part, and I don't remember with what, but it was fucking amazing. So anyways, all that's to say is that I'm going to take a look at that light when I get home and see if I can figure it out, because I'm very into electricity, spending quite a bit of money getting tools to test electricity and see the currents, which work on the human body, by the way. which is pretty cool. You can literally test my frequency. But anyways, what was I talking about? I was talking about drawing out a big fucking intro here. Not really talking about much at all. But I was trying to get across the point that mindset is so fucking damn important that without it, you can have all the greatest spells in the fucking world, all the greatest tools. You can have a fucking temple built by the masons that built Solomon's temple. If you don't have the right fucking mind and know-how, you ain't fucking doing anything. That's the point I want to get across. So, a lot of people want the straight up magic. Give me this spell, give me that spell. When the truth of that matter is yeah, there's old words that were created that have specific things behind it. And here's the secret behind that. People use them over and over and over and over and over again to the point where that's why it's popular and that's why it works. So there's power in it because the person who created it, someone created it, said this group of words is going to make this happen. And then when someone needed that to happen, then that person said, hey, use this spell. And then that person traded it off to, let's say, 5 people and 5 people and 5 people. And every one of these 5 people, if 4 of them believed in it and had the right mindset, then that shit worked. And then thought forms are created, blah, 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 blah. We won't get into all that. But, so now that is a powerful statement / spell that has an energy signature, a thought form, or just the ability to whatever. But nonetheless, if you don't have the right mindset, you can't even use that energetic group of words to your benefit, which is kind of my point. But nonetheless, the point of all this is you can make your own fucking spells. The more you do it, if you have the right mindset, you believe 100%, then everything you fucking say in a magical right, if, you know, with your intention and will and all that, everything you say you do is a fucking spell. That's the secret. Hey kids, spelling is fun, girl. They explained that shit out on the radio. There's a reason. Well, but everything is a spell. Everything is a bloody fucking spell. The people and the conspiracy theories saying that about these dark magicians, well, they got that part right. Every word, everything is a spell. But they're only activated if you have the right mindset, if you've done the right formula, and you use emotion correctly with it. Otherwise, you have to do the affirmation and you have to say it over and over and over and over and over again, which, once again, will just add to it, and eventually that will become a magic spell for you, where you can say it a couple times and it'll come true. But nonetheless, like, there's other things that have to go into it. There's no power in these words. But all the old spells that do work, that you can find, the reason they work is because people have added energy into them. It's the same reason that I do the practice that I do, because so many people have done it, and every time I do my pentagrams in the air, I'm doing the lesser banishing on the pentagram to make sure that the elements and the elementals and the the elements and the elementals don't have dominion over me, and, you know, even if they get mad at me for something that I wasn't trying to do to piss them off, well, they won't turn my shit upside down. But every person who's ever done those pentagrams in the air, if I do it exactly the same way they do, there's energy there. I'm doing the same thing they did. Therefore, it works. It knocks off those things. Just like the greater ritual of the hexagram. Every person who's ever done that, who successfully made themselves, not necessarily look younger, but stave off getting older faster, you know, made yourself seem younger, and everybody reduced the planet's effects on them, Saturn in particular. Therefore, you know, all the things that come along with Saturn, and Saturn restricts you, you get a little more wiggle room. So it's like Saturn's trying to restrict you into place, but it's like, well, I need some room to see if this is going to work, Sat. So you start doing that fucking ritual, and then he lets you move, and, you know, you go from karma to grace. It's one way of looking at it. That's the way I always looked at it. But everybody who's ever done those rituals have put power in it, their belief in it, that it works. Therefore, it fucking works. If you have the correct mindset and believe it. If you have the correct mindset and you fucking believe that shit, then it will fucking ultimately work for you. So, once again, if you are a witch, to me, if you're a witch, now I don't want to insult anybody. I think there's some witches out there that might be naive, that might not know they're witches, and whatever the case is. But change it to magical practitioner, change it to whatever the fuck you feel more comfortable with. I like witch. My grandmother was a self-proclaimed witch. Other people also called her a witch, but she claimed the word. She was also a Christian. So think of that as you will. She was devout Catholic. Even when the church fucking, gave her a hard time about shit, she still didn't turn her back on Jesus Christ. So make that up if you will. My grandmother was a beautiful person. I don't want to fuck with her either, though. I mean, I don't know personally, because I've only ever seen a sweet woman, but I know two of her daughters, which are my aunts, and I'm sure they get that wrath from somewhere, first of all. And I've heard some stories, so, it is as it is. So, take those two little girls that she had, combine that into one woman, that's probably my grandmother, so they both have a pretty unforgiving, holding a grudge to the ends of the earth, follow your eyes kind of attitude. That's probably both in my grandmother, if not, contained or whatever, but she spent most of her life trying to make other people happy. So this is a person who was born with abilities to do shit, but it didn't change because she was born with abilities. She didn't do everything for self. You know what I mean? She wasn't. She had a house, had a farm, had a ton of animals around the fucking place. I mean, as a kid, it's Christmas. She asked everybody what they wanted to go broke every year for Christmas. They tried to make people happy. They worked on fucking following carnivals around with their animals in their area. You know what I mean? Making children happy. Like, that's the kind of person she was. Who knows if she could have used any of her gifts for her own sake, being that she was told they were of the devil and she shouldn't practice anymore. That she stopped at a pretty young age, probably, according to what I know. So, but things would still happen as she was older because she still has blatant abilities in her. But you know what I mean? It's just like, just because you're born with gifts doesn't mean you're meant to do something. So anybody out there who, the reason I'm saying this is because my first initial period when I was going through New Age, after conspiracy, that's what got me into New Age. First video was from the higher self. Are you one of the prophesized 144 legwork here to save the world? So then I got into all of that fucking junk, trying to see if I was one of these people, and then watching all these different videos of characteristics of a light worker, and of an empath, and of some type of shaman, and of this, and of that, and of this, and of that, and of this, and of that. And oh my god, it was just ridiculous. And I mean, I still like those videos, and I still watch them from time to time. So when I say ridiculous, I don't mean that in any derogatory way. They helped me get where I am, and I believe in, especially a lot of the empath ones, a few of the other ones. One of the other ones that really got to me was an earth angel, which one of the ones I, probably even more than empath, I resonated with was being an earth angel, which has nothing to do with being an actual angel or the concept of archangel that I know what it is and all that. It's simply just, anyway. The point I'm trying to get at is all those, for right now, all those videos led me to a place where I started thinking that I was special and above. But I had characteristics, being an ex-drug addict, you have trouble being around people, so you feel like you take on people's energies, blah, 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 blah. Which is where I was able to identify that before I even had my birth chart to see that I have Jupiter in Pisces, which means I'm going to take on people's energies like a motherfucker. Alright, I'm going to grab on everybody's energy around me. I'm going to be a dumping ground because Jupiter Pisces is in my 12th house and I have Jupiter in it. Okay, so that means I'm a dumping ground for people around me, dump their shit onto. That's why most people, after they talk to me, they're gonna feel better, because I'm gonna take on their flipping energy, and it's gonna fucking, well, I'm gonna feel like it's my own garbage, first of all, until I realize that, which thank God I finally figured that out. And those videos semi-helped. It definitely helped me get to the path, that's for sure. But you know, it helped me identify those things. And then once I got my chart, you know, just for a while, I thought, okay, well, I identified these things. Maybe I'm just shitting myself. Maybe I'm just kidding myself. Maybe, you know, I'm not really like this. Maybe someone else should listen to this for me. But my wife at the time wasn't going to have that. She didn't really like me listening to that kind of weird stuff. Although I did try to get her to listen. But anyways, so luckily when I got my chart, I figured out, okay, well, there we go. Jupiter in Pisces. I also have my 3rd and 4th house both in Cancer, so I have pretty strong Cancer. You know, I got no signs, or sorry, I got no planets in Cancer, so I'm amplifying it. But both my 3rd and my 4th house, my 3rd starts and finishes in Cancer, and my 4th house is also in Cancer again. So that's pronounced water. And then I got Scorpio I got Pluto in Scorpio, which I don't really know what that means, because, you know, but my Scorpio house is huge. It's on the opposite side of my Aries house. And my Aries house goes from Aquarius to Taurus, or Pisces to Taurus. Yeah, we just get the whole sign of Aries. So, anyways, all this is to say is, when I got into all these videos, I started feeling, you know, up in the air. Like, oh, I might be like, I'm this, I might be an earth angel, I'm an empath, I'm this, I'm that, whoa. Which really puts you on a self-righteous path. So when I come out here and I say my grandmother was born with abilities that I wasn't born with. I wasn't born with any of those abilities. I wasn't able to heal people. Well, I mean, the jury's out on the healing thing, right? Healing happens in my house. My son was diagnosed as epileptic. He's no longer epileptic. My wife had cancer before I got into anything new age. She had cervical cancer. It came out of nowhere, but just as fast as it came, it left. And, you know, not anything about it. We did everything right. Like, we did not focus on it. We did not think about it. Every time we brought it up, she brought it up, we would both literally say, and this is before I knew any of this magic stuff, but we would literally say, no, it's not happening. We're going to be around forever. Trust me. We're going to be. There's no way you're dying first. You know, I didn't really stick to the rules of how the subconscious mind works with the correct statements, like, you know, using those and shit like that. But I mean, we never entertained the thought. And I never once worried about losing her. Because as much as I can't explain this, and it's what bugged me about my Pathfinder, but I don't even want to say it. But anyways, I can see things in my life, futures, let's say. And I don't see like this future that manifests before my eyes and my mind's eye or anything like that. But it's like this, almost like this feeling you get. You have something, oh yeah, I'm going to have this rest of my life. Well, I had that with my wife. I've known from the get-go I was going to be my wife for the rest of my life. I already know that. But then there's certain cars and items and important things, children. Another good example, every one of my children is like, I know I'm going to have these for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? I can see that. I can see them growing. I have dreams of them growing, and so on and so forth. So, but then there's, you know, there's things that happen, and it's like, when I get them to I don't see this like in the next few years still being with us, you know what I mean? So that's kind of what I mean. That's something, but see, like compared to my grandmother's shit, like I got nothing, you know what I mean? Like she's looking at fucking tea leaves and reading people's futures, healing fucking people, having these fucking house moving moments where the house is shaking, something bad's about to happen, really premonitions. She just lost her friend, the whole fucking room shaking. Those kind of things have happened to my grandmother, right? And I believe that wholeheartedly. Part of my programming too. Someone's gonna break that programming, it might fuck me up, but there's no way you can, because I know it's true. Talk to anyway, it doesn't matter. The point of all that is, you know, as much as I figure it out, you can say these things I just talked about are abilities, are traits, like the whole empath thing, taking on people's energy. That's, some people call that a superpower, some people call that psychic phenomenon, psychic, whatever you want to fucking call it. But it's something that's within everybody. So to me, it's not a power. You know, what my grandmother had, that was power. I don't have power. Yes, I can heal people. I heal people through trauma. Maybe that's how my wife got healed. Maybe that's how before my brother died, like she had a bunch of lumps this one time, I got rid of them all. And they all came back. And then things just, you know, I couldn't do it anymore. But I was in a bad place too then. I can't heal anybody if I need healing. You know what I mean? So if I need healing, I can't heal anybody. Keep that in mind. So any empath out there wanting to be a healer, and you're one of these people that people dump shit on all the time, you gotta find a way to protect or always cleanse out your energy, because if you want to keep healing, you can't be blocked up by everybody's garbage. So anyways, so I definitely know I can heal. I heal people in that way. Talk to me, they feel better. Dump your shit on me. But like I said before, that only heals momentarily. If they go back home and they're in the same situation where they built up all that bullshit, well then it's just gonna keep happening to them. So I clear them out when they talk to me, when they go back into that situation. They build back up, so they just keep dumping on me. They have to fix their problem. That's the thing about healing, right? You can heal people, but if there's something causing the fucking problem, it's gonna keep coming back. And you're not gonna be able to keep healing. Because when you start becoming a reason to keep a bad lifestyle, or a reason to stay with somebody who you shouldn't stay with, or anything like that, when you become, it's like the woman. You know, I got nothing against anybody who decides to do abortion. Like I said, when it comes to women and their anatomy and what they do, that's not for me to decide, okay? You know, if my wife has a strong opinion on that, then I'd back her up, her opinion up, whatever that may be. But it's not for me to go tell women what they can or can't do. So, if you're a woman who's for it, great. If you're a woman who's against it, great. Don't judge me for anything I say, because I don't have an opinion on it, okay? But it'd be like a woman who's using the ability to have abortion as birth control. At a certain point, the doctors are going to say, no, you need to start being more protective, or look at the consequences and have a child, and maybe you won't get pregnant anymore. And if anybody has done that, listen to me, please don't get mad at me. I'm not judging you either. I mean, we all make stupid mistakes. Hell, I made mistakes that are totally stupider than that. We can argue that, you know, whatever is different than whatever, but no. If they're going to give you the ability to do it, then why wouldn't people do it, is my opinion. You know what I mean? People making up these rules and throwing this shit out there have to be more responsible as well, knowing human nature. But that's the point, right? If someone's coming to you to get healing because they just keep drinking and their liver's fucked, keep fixing their fucking liver for them, it's like, well, no, it's not going to happen. You know, eventually it's just not going to be able to. Alright, so I don't know where I was going. My wife keeps calling me to tell me stuff while I'm driving, so this is as it is. But yeah, so that's the thing about healing. But anyways, the point I was trying to get at, and if you haven't noticed, it's just me kind of ranting out this episode and trying to see what I come up with and what kind of things I end up talking about. But when it comes to these magical abilities that we are born into, that we discover through looking at this stuff, that's one thing New Age is good at. They might glorify and talk you up and maybe make you a little, you know, think you're holier than thou, which isn't a good thing starting into this path. If anything, everybody around you should change, which, you know, isn't the case. But when you start acting like that to everybody and telling them they should change and they should try this, then, you know, because you are so high and mighty, and they're like, well, what's wrong with me? Like, you want to change yourself, that's fine, but why are you telling me to change? And trust me, I did this to my wife too many times. Like, between that and not giving her attention, like, I don't even blame her, but I was probably a pretty self-centered, self-righteous prick. Self-righteous prick. You know, I talk about self-righteous Christians, born again, having that experience, right? And sorry, I know I can't see. Just trying to do a couple things at once here. And I don't mean that in any bad way, man. If anybody listens to me that are of that faith, like, I'm okay with you. I'm talking about people that go around trying to force their dogma on other people. I don't like that. But if you are that person listening, then fuck you. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't force your shit on anybody else. If your system is so good, people will find the fucking value in it themselves. And not everybody is meant for your system, I hate to tell you. So, but you shouldn't have to force it on. But yeah, I was just as bad as one of them. Me going around talking about them all the time is kind of hypocritical because I was kind of like that with my wife. Now, I didn't do that on a large scale. And I didn't try to go recruit people. So I'm not quite as bad. But you know what I mean? I'm trying to get my wife to listen to stuff and tell her this is what she needs and this is what she needs. It's like, who the fuck am I to tell her what she needs? She needs to go inside and find out what she needs for herself. You know what I mean? But a lot of us do that. A lot of us do that in spiritual community, especially when we're in New Age. We hear all these things that talk themselves up, which, you know, some of them are useful, but at the same time, these videos work on hits. How do you get lots of people to watch your video? Well, you make them feel good about themselves while they're watching your fucking video, right? Hard truths, people don't want to hear that shit. Shit that go against their belief systems, people don't want to hear that shit. But that's the kind of shit I talk about. People don't want to hear that shit. People want to hear things like, oh, you are powerful. You are going to make it one day. Your manifestation is right around the corner. Keep doing exactly what you're doing. I see all of you out there. I know what's happening to you. I am powerful. I predicted this and this and this. Trust me, believe me. Keep watching my videos and you'll be enlightened. It's like, well, that's horseshit. They need to fucking go and do their own fucking thing. Watching your videos ain't going to do a damn thing unless you're telling them how to meditate, how to get that cross communication, how to get the proper mindset. You know, the first thing I started off with, bringing it full circle once again, and just had to point that out. Unless you're teaching them how to get the right mindset in your fucked up ADD way, that is the only way you know how to explain things. It's just kind of going at it and see what you come up with without really any structure. But you try to get them to cultivate the right mindset so that when they start saying spells, affirmations, doing ritual magic, writing sigils, their mind has the correct programming, has the correct, understands the symbolic language, knows how to do all that shit. That's what I'm focusing on. It's all the important parts. People can give you spells all day long and tell you how to write on this and that. And I mean, there's little things you can do. There's quite a bit. Like taking a bay leaf, fucking just burning a bay leaf, or writing a dollar amount on the bay leaf and burning it works. I was listening to the newest Frater Xavier video, and a person's wrote in. There's a bunch of good information in there, by the way. You should really listen to it. But anyways, the brand newest one. A lot of good different things that you can use for lots of different things. I'm not even gonna tell you what it is, but anyways, the one thing that was said in there was about a bay leaf. This guy said he didn't learn this from Frater Xavier, but he was told if he puts a rune for money, it's one that looks like an F, but there's many of them. I forget the name of it, Fehu or something like that. I've never done it. I don't know much about runes. I know a little bit. I know enough to hold my own in a basic talk and discussion about runes, just to be able to say, it was probably one of the original fucking divinations, one of the earliest ones, or one of the most, not necessarily the earliest one, maybe one of the most popular. I really think Taoing, like not Taoism, but like a Tao, and pendulums are probably like one of the first points and shit like that, to be honest. But as far as like a system, like tarot and astrology, well, I think rune was one of the first. But besides a bunch of knowledge about that and the history of it and whatever else, I don't know much about it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna pretend. I'll leave that for the Thunder Wizards. I like the guy. I don't care. I know I give him a hard time. I know I talk about him bad. I use him as an opponent to go up against and formulate new ideas. But God can't exist without Satan. You can't do anything correct without opposition. You can't get to the next step unless someone's fucking with you, unless someone's fucking making you think, unless someone's pushing up against you to get you to evolve. You're not going to evolve. Everything just stays the same, and no one challenges his ideas. It gets you, he might seriously not think Western magic is legit, but because of that, it forces me to fucking come out here and, okay, well, how would I prove to somebody like him in just a few sentences, with a few examples, or with a 3-hour or 2-hour or 1-hour video, how would I prove to somebody like that, so they don't have to go do it, that there is some legitimacy to it? So I find all these testimonials and I give all these examples, and I find all these ways, and I get more knowledge out of it. So, like I said, it's useful, it's necessary. Saturn is like that. He restricts you. He gives you boundaries for you to push up against so you can figure shit out. So, in a manner of speaking, Thunder Wizard kind of facilitates that for me. Like I said, I haven't watched his videos, but maybe I should, and I'll be better inspired to make better videos and get more subscribers. I was steady climbing whenever I was doing a video about him once a week. So who knows? But anyways, I don't know how I got into that fucking tangent. Oh yeah, I know. I ended up bringing it back full circle to the mind and how if someone is just telling people what they want to hear, well, they're not helping them out. They're actually leaving them worse off, because they're just being told what they want to hear and not told how to hear what they need to hear from themselves internally. Well, they're just doing a disservice. And just like the videos that talk you up and make you self-righteous, they're just getting hits out of it, fueling their own shit. And I'm not saying it's the only reason, but it's one of the main things that's happening. But you gotta watch out with that stuff, because it can make you a little self-righteous. But nonetheless, it's helped me out. And I forget why I got into New Age before everything. But anyways, before all that, that's how I figured out once I got my chart and I learned how to read it, I figured out I had those abilities. But before that, I identified with a bunch of these videos. So, once again, when it comes to healing, I don't know if that healing that I know I'm capable of, which is the empathic healing, and people need to talk, because I got many placements that would be perfect for a priest. What is a priest who listens to people? I got placements in there that look like they should be for a psychologist. And what does psychologists do? Well, they listen to people, right? They need healing for these people. What did I just explain? I explained that I have something within me that allows me to suck up people's energy, suck up people's trauma, bullshit. So, because of that, when they unload their shit onto me, they get a bit of healing out of it, because they release from the body. When they go back to their original setting, the weight just builds back up, and it's dumping on me. But anyways, all this was to say, I'm just going to bring it back, because I don't know how I segued all the way up here. Originally was to say that I don't have the kind of abilities that my grandmother was, quote-unquote, born with. So, in her day and age, there was no internet and nothing like that. Now, who knows if her mom really taught her, or someone else taught her, and I just never heard that story. From what I know, she was born with this ability. Like, how the fuck do you just learn how to read news? Maybe there was some books she read. I don't know. I don't have all that information. The point is, it seems as if, like, I gotta learn this stuff. I don't know, I can ask her for help. I'm gonna get help from her when I ask her for help and shit like that. So, don't get that twisted. But, it's not quite the same as having her here in person, so to speak. And I probably wouldn't do that even if she was here. Although I think it'd be cool if I could have. But what I'm trying to say is she was born with those abilities, whereas we gotta cultivate those. And, just for me, being a witch is more about that. You can be born with abilities, you can be bloodlines and all that shit. That's all fine and good. But to me, it's about what I've just been talking about. It's not just going through old books and using old spells, or the abilities that were just handed down to you that you can use because you're 7th sister or 7th sister. Like, in all due respect to my grandmother, I mean, she had no control that her mother was a 7th sister, and then when her mother and father had kids, she became a 7th sister. She had no control in that, but because of that, she had these abilities. So all that was just handed to her, and then because of the time she lived in, she had to not use it, which really sucks when you think about it. Given all these gifts and they're told that they're from the devil and not use them, and that's just some bullshit, if you ask me. But with all due respect to my grandmother, to me, a witch is somebody, know, and I mean, if you're born with abilities, I'm not saying you're not a witch, because obviously you're a fucking witch. I mean, if you're born with that shit, you're meant to do that path, potentially. And it could be just karma, you have left over. There's so many ways to explain it away. Like I heard Thunder Wizard once saying, you have healing abilities in this lifetime, it's because you murdered people in another lifetime. And I couldn't believe he said that in one of those videos. Like, really? Are you really gonna fucking say that? And who the fuck knows? The guy could be right. I doubt it. But the guy could be right. But like, we all have these different healing abilities and abilities to heal people on different levels, because people need different healing on different levels. And I know that's a semi-cop-out way to say that, like, oh yeah, everybody heals somebody in some small way. It's like, well, yeah, because the person with anxiety and a low-level depression, not a high-level depression, is just as much healing as the person with cancer and the person with whatever other fucking, issue. They all need healing. So, and, anyways. But the point is, I'm not trying to diss anybody who has those abilities. I mean, fuck, that's awesome. I'm not jealous. More power to you. Go out there and do the good work. But what I'm trying to say is, what makes someone a witch is that, okay, I know there's something more I should do. Hopefully it's not clouded by some bullshit. And it's not just, all this conspiracy, they're gonna break down this conspiracy. That's what my purpose is. I'd be a little fucking leery about that shit. But what I mean is, like, okay, there's something that's not right. I know there's something more to this, whatever. This is gonna be my perspective of it. But, I didn't stop until I figured it out. Because, like, looking at my chart, I'm a fucking ascendant Taurus, descendant Scorpio, sun's in fucking Taurus or whatever, It was nothing super fantastical when you first look at my chart until you understand about Saturn and about retrogrades and about Jupiter and about all these planets and all the other signs. And holy fuck. So when you start learning about this shit, it gets pretty deep. It's pretty cool. And then now it's like, okay, I understand. Like, I know how cool my chart is and how unique it is to me and, all my abilities. Once I got that, I was able to figure out where I'm going to be good, where I'm not going to be good, so on and so forth. But what I'm trying to say is, what makes you a witch, or, whatever title you want to use, wizard, magic practitioner, new age, fucking homeopathic, whatever, if you want to use the word fucking warlock, whatever. What makes that is that you're trying, well, first of all, to get back to the original idea, spells are whatever you make them. To me, anything can be a fucking spell. You can write a spell. You should be writing your own fucking spells at a certain point. You shouldn't just be looking up old fucking spells. The witch that just looks up old spells, uses old spells, lots of energy in them, that's great, whatever. Use them. I mean, they're there to use, I get it. But it's like, you're only going to be able to go so far with these old spells that were made for older times. You need to start making your own fucking spells. Start using them with some frequency. You want to fucking really get them to fucking work well? Well, you share them to anybody that you know. You put them on your site. You put them on your videos. You tell people this is what you did. This is the spell you use. You get them to use it. The more energy into it, you have complete faith in it. Maybe you make a thought form to go with that spell. And that's what makes a real witch. Is to understand the power that all of us have, and we can harness that power. I may not have this natural born ability or powers. But what I do now have is the knowledge of how to hone what has been given to me. How to use words, emotion, and will, ritual magic, how to make thought forms, how to do spells correctly, which words to use, which words not to use, how to use symbolism to the best ability to get symbolism into your subconscious mind as a suggestion, all that shit. That makes me the witch. That makes me a witch. Not just that I'm the fucking neighborhood weirdo that, people feel great being around and some people get healed and weird stuff happens, weird Wi-Fi things happen. Which all that shit happens, but it's like few and far between. Whereas when it comes to what I know, my true power lies in my intelligence right now. The fact that I understand and know that I can take the words I am or I will with gratitude, and I can make something come into my life because I have the correct mindset, that I'm in abundance, that there's so much abundance around me, that I have nothing but faith in this craft because I've seen the results in my own life, in other people's lives. I listen to testimonies. I know it's possible, and it's been possible, it's been happening for me. I have the correct mindset. I know how to use the proper emotion. I know how to give offerings and thanks and praise. I know how to use the moon correctly. All that shit is what makes me a fucking witch. That's what makes me a witch. Not that I was born with some abilities or have some bloodline. It's that I know how to use my power, other power, our mind, our subconscious. I know that spells aren't just fancy fucking rhymes that were made a long time ago. Which, I'm not discounting the power in rhyme, man. You can make a spell rhyme. Fuck, it's like making a song. You can add song into there, you can add sex into there, you can add dance. All these things enhance the electricity, the energy. You know what I mean? They're all very, 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 very important. So anyways, that's what I was trying to get at when I said, if you're somebody out there that doesn't have these powers, or you're trying to figure out if you have powers or not, don't think you're not a witch because you're not on some of these fucking lists. Because there are straight up lists on, I think, Be the Light or those other channels of 5 signs you know you're a witch, 10 signs you know you're a witch, 13 signs you know you're a witch. Which is 13 was probably the most clever. You know what I mean? If you don't jive with some of those, don't stress it. You need to think about what you want, first of all. Understand what you want. See, I want knowledge. That's one of the things I want. I want to know. Now, I know enough to make things happen. I don't know everything. I'm very far from that. But I know enough to make things happen in a pretty frequency, meaning it happens often in my life. I have that ability now to be able to do that. It's pretty cool. So I have enough knowledge to do that. Now, to go to the next level, there's a few things I gotta, cross over that I don't know if I'm ready to cross over, but we'll talk about that maybe later. The point is, one of the things I wanted was knowledge, and I got it. And the reason I wanted knowledge is because I truly believe that if you have the right knowledge, then you can do almost anything. Meaning, if I have enough knowledge of this stuff, because I can cast for money, I can get money. But if I can cast with the knowledge of how to continuously get money, how to make my own spells, have the knowledge how to do magic really successfully, keep receiving occult knowledge from Mercury and Saturn and, all the different dudes that I need to get knowledge from. Sorry about that. Anyways, but yeah. And I realized that if I do that, kind of like I said in the beginning, I mean, my first manifestation was when I was just in Law of Attraction, and I went for 10 grand and cars and all that, which I got. It took me a while, but I got. But I just lost my train of thought again. Shit, I hate when that happens. Oh yeah, but what I'm trying to get at is after that, when I realized whenever I wasn't supposed to cast and do things, I mean, it's not really explicit, but when you're during your neophyte, you're not really supposed to be trying to make anything manifest. So instead of trying to go for money and shit like that, I was manifesting for the ability to be able to manifest faster, the ability to get into my subconscious faster. And what did that lead me to? Well, I don't know, maybe I got some neural pathways that just straight up created whatever for whatever to happen faster, or maybe I was led to all this knowledge and understanding of how this shit works on such a profound level that now I have the ability to make this stuff happen almost on a daily basis. And it's not just about one fucking spell. It's about having it all working together on the same level. Like, you're doing Reject, Banish, Deny as you're doing your ritual magic, as you carve another candle at night for every day of the week continuously, as you're, when you're fixing your self-talk in your head also through Reject, Banish, Deny. as you're reading and learning fucking more, as you're writing in your diary, you're writing a story how your life wants to play out, as you're continuously manipulating this shit with all this knowledge as you go. And if something changes, then you change that as you go. Like, to have a book where you're writing your story as of right now on how you want things to progress. And I'm not talking about, okay, well, today I got $500, and tomorrow I got $500, the next day I got $500, and the next day I found a big bag of Coke, and the next day I found this, and I found that. It's like, that's not what I mean. I mean, like, if you have real aspirations and goals and you want to become something, and you're trying to actually get to something, whether it's just like buying a house, having a car, making family, you start writing in your book the next steps of what you want to happen. You start writing in your book all the next steps that you want to happen. And as you progress, I mean, this works really well when you're, sorry, there's a bunch of fucking shit on the road over there. This works really well when you start manifesting things and everything starts going well in your life. You start writing a story, a book, how you want everything to play out and continuously play out in your life. It's a good way to keep pushing it in the right direction and having something down there written as it should be written, as it should be done, kind of dealio. So I got really fucked up because there's a fuckload of traffic on the other side and there's a big accident, blah 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 blah. But anyways, but to me, that's what makes a witch. A witch is the man or woman who's doing all these things, coordination and learning, and trying to continuously manipulate their life, and maybe tries to help others in the process. But ultimately, you got to help yourself first, and then you can help others. But you have to help others to figure out how they can help themselves. You know what I mean? You can't just do things for others. Certain things you can try to do for others, but for the most part, that's, yeah. Anyways. Oh, shit. Alright, what's going on, everybody? I didn't really wait to finish my shit on my way home, but I don't know, I'm not doing anything right now anyways. I could be wrong, but I think the guys might take a longer lunch because we're almost done, but they may not either. They might want to go faster, so who knows. But anyways, there was a bunch of fire trucks and shit on the highway there, so I just kind of shut it off. But I know initially I was talking about fucking me losing subscribers, and I was relating it to the fact that potentially it's because I don't talk about magic as much as I probably should. I talk more about philosophies. Talk more about philosophies and mindsets and shit like that. And then I got into a few ways of why that's important. I brought it back, started getting off onto being a fucking empath and healing and all this shit, and then I basically was able to turn it around and say, well, that's why the mindset's important, because a lot of people might want spells and different rituals, which you can get. Like, if you buy Freighter's programs, he'll talk about both mindset, and he'll talk about both the mindset and different little magical things you can do, little rituals you can do. And these things have been done by many people, and because of that, there's power in them, and they work. Simple little things, you know what I mean? I am not at liberty to share them because, he charges money for them, so that wouldn't be very cool of me to take one of my mentors, people that I learned the most from, and just start spitting out the shit he's trying to sell to people. But with my 84, 85, 86, whatever it might be at subscribers, but word travels fast. So, nonetheless, the point is there are little things and techniques you can do. And for the most part, I share with everybody my original ways that I've done things. So, I said the bay leaf thing today because it's something I did in the past and it worked. So, but it keeps working in the car. But anyway, so I talk about my specific little tips and techniques and shit I do that's worked for me, and I'm honing my tips and techniques now. I've done many things that Freighter teaches in his programs, I've done many things I've pieced together before I even bought his program, such as water magic, but you know, a bunch of the different egg rituals, magical ledger, soap ritual, bunch of shit. But like I said, for the most part, I do candle magic because I'm in a position where I'm in a position where I can manifest and write and wait for shit to happen from my candle magic. I don't need to manifest things, or I'm not in desperation, I guess is another way to put it. Because, you know, truth be told, when I had all the time off to figure out what I wanted to do, I didn't necessarily get to that point then. And so who knows what the reason is that I went back into the trades, but I enjoy what I'm doing. And then, you know, it gives me time to, except for like recent events with the car and all that, but besides that shit, I was able to, I was enjoying this. And all this is basically to say that for me, I don't need to stay at home and desperately try to figure out what the fuck I'm going to do and what I want to do in my life and how to make some kind of passion or purpose of mine profitable. I am doing my curriculum currently, and I am still doing performing magic. I am writing on candles for future things to happen that I need, you know what I mean, that I believe I need, and then whenever there's no need for anything, and, you know, I don't have to give offerings and shit like that, but then I just cast for more knowledge, and whatever the case is. So I make my podcast, I make these fucking videos, because it's my creative process that I enjoy. In addition to all that, I also enjoy, you know, building shit when I'm at home. I brought a trough home not that long ago from work. Managed to drive it all the way home. I think I told everybody that. And I put it up. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed making all these different pieces because it wasn't quite long enough for the place I put it. But I enjoy doing that. Yes, last night when I got home, I fixed the box that we had inside initially for winter clothes, and I put that outside for the toys in it for the summertime. You know, there's a lot of things I enjoy, and I'm able to do that. Plus, the thing is, I've always wanted to make stuff and do the stuff around the house and be creative in a tool trade building like fashion. I wanted to be able to fix a lot of the things in my house without having to call somebody. I'd like to be able to renovate and do, you know what I mean? And so I casted for, you know, the ability to be able to fucking do specific things like that. Maybe once or twice, not often. But it was, you know, me and my wife were doing renovations in the bathroom, and then I'm pretty sure I had a rogue fucking water fucking elemental fucking with me, because, man, it wasn't until like after fucking whipping out and doing a cleansing that I was able to solder the shit on and it worked right. But anyways, that's besides the point. But, you know, after all that fiasco, and she kind of was looking at me like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing and we need to hire people, whatever. And then, you know, lo and behold, I'm in the trades now, like, just by doing the roofing, the troughing, the siding, the soffit, the fascia, and starting the beginnings of learning about masonry and shit like that. You know, it's so much easier now to do things around the house, because whereas I didn't necessarily I had a small version of common sense when it came to small repairs before this. I'm pretty confident I can fix most things, and that's always been kind of the case, whether it's little electronic things or bigger things, doesn't really matter. Oh, fuck, I killed it. I was trying not to kill the mosquito, but I don't want to get picked by it either. But yeah, whether it was electronic things or, you know, drywall or whatever the case. But now that common sense that I have, and, you know, the ability to just kind of know exactly what we need to do, my wife looks at me in a whole different way whenever I say, yeah, that's what we need to do. And, like, I don't need to YouTube things anymore, because just by doing this stuff, the way you cut, like, I work with metal a lot, and different types of fabrics and materials for, like, the siding. I work for metal roofs and, you know, metal trough and soffit and all that, so I can manipulate metal pretty good. when you start manipulating metal, it makes it easy to fix metal things in your house. It makes it easy to alter metal, bend metal. I have all the tools now that I need. So all that's to say is that necessarily this is not necessarily my passion and my purpose when I'm doing that for a living, but I'm making money doing something that I'm learning a lot in the process that's going to help me, with everything I was just mentioning. And I tried to say this a while back, and it didn't end up coming out correctly what I was trying to get at, and I think now I finally said it correct, so pretty happy about that. But nonetheless, I don't think I've done it recently, but for a while I always write or make a candle sigil saying I'm grateful for finding my passion and purpose. And I don't know if that means that I'm going to be currently doing that, or at some day it's just going to randomly manifest and it's going to be like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. If that means I'm going to fucking all of a sudden become a fucking star and be able to teach people in classes, if it means I got to step up and actually start making fucking digital downloads and maybe it'll take off, who the fuck knows? I mean, anything's possible. Or if it's going to be a complete different area, I have no idea. That's one of my problems, is my indecisiveness. And I am very much one of those people that have too many things I enjoy doing, I like doing, and I think would be okay to do. And therefore, it's hard to narrow something down. Because I always have this practicalness in the back of my mind instead of just thinking and going big and thinking for the stars what I want to do, and then that's what I should do or something. Because, I got a family and people to support. That may not necessarily be the correct way to go about it, but that's just the way it is, I guess, for me right now. So, but all that was to say that I do candle magic every night, and it keeps us afloat. Like our money situation, even now, with adding that extra payment to the car and all that, I'm in the process of gonna get that engine fixed on the Pathfinder, so that it's not just able to drive us in town, which we might be able to take it on the highway right now, but we just don't know. But at the moment, we're just driving in town and we're using our other car. We've become two double car owners again. 2 cars we own now, me and my wife. So, but even with that, with me continuously making candles on the appropriate days, using the appropriate planetary energies, using my own style of manifestation and candle magic that I've been doing now straight for fucking, it's got to be close to 5 years. I know I throw that around a lot, and I think it's somewhere between 4 and the 5 year mark, because I started all this shit, especially the podcast. It was close to my birthday the 1 year. That might be like 3 years ago, but technically I was doing magic prior to that, and it wasn't until I found or thought I had enough to offer to actually teach that I decided to start teaching. So, but all that's to say is that I'm proof of that. The thing I was talking about earlier, how we make our own spells, how anything you say can be a spell. Now, once again, there's more powerful ways to do stuff. Like, I am is more powerful than I will. I use both of those. I am grateful for whatever I want to manifestation. And then it's I will thee, harm free, so mote it be. Harm free doesn't always go there, but that's just a catch-all. But I mean, if you can really narrow down the opposite reaction that could happen, if you're trying to manifest money, well, you don't want to manifest poverty or more debt, or whatever the opposite might be. But you also got to bind down, not someone dying because of you getting that money, unless you don't care about someone dying whenever you get that money. That's all up to you. But that's why the harm-free comes in handy. If you think the thing you're trying to manifest, like if you're trying to manifest losing weight, then harm-free is going to be for you. But you can word it in a different way. It's kind of what I mean, is like, for you losing weight, you don't really have to worry about somebody dying. You know what I mean? How is someone dying going to help you lose weight? And I'm sure there's something you could think of. You're going to get a bunch of money because this person dies, and you're able to get that weight loss program to help you lose weight. Potentially. But for the most part, I think you're pretty safe. But who knows? I just gave you an example of how that could backfire. So keep that in the back of your mind if that's what you're doing. But things do go faster if you don't use harm-free. But you really got to watch out, because if there's some way that shit can come faster to you, and there's somebody who's on the fence with something, whether it's their health dwindling or their money finances aren't doing so well, and you need money, and then all of a sudden, I'm not a big person who likes to talk about the fact that magic takes money from someone else, because I don't believe that. I believe you can manifest money without taking money from someone's hand. Now, I guess, the government or the banks or whatever, for you to get an extra amount, someone has to lose that money. But for all the amount of money that the government and the banks are able to print on a daily basis, it's really not taking anything when, if you deposit $100 in their bank account, then they can turn that into $10,000. It's $1,000. It's $10,000. They're allowed to move the decimal point 2 points, or 10%. Anyways, I forget exactly what that is, but so for 100,000, that's a fucking, it's $1 million, let's say. They're allowed to move that decimal point, and that's how much money they're allowed to lend out after you deposit that in your account. So, and then when they loan you money, they loan you X amount of dollars, and because you're agreeing to pay that back, and you start payments on there, then now they have what they loaned you, and they're able to move that a decimal point too, so they're kind of fucking you. But, so that's why when it comes to being able to take money from them, these establishments, is that, taking up money, tax and all that, then it's really just like getting it back, so. But yeah, if you're going to take it from your poor neighbor, or some old man who's about to keel over, who put you in their will and you didn't know about, well then, then you're causing shit to happen, so. But the main purpose of this was to say that if you don't think I'm talking about magic, you're wrong. I'm talking about the mindset needed for magic, the right ways to think about magic, the right ways and emotion and all the steps you can do. And basically one of the main things I try to get out there is that I do my own version of candle magic, and it's working because I've been doing it so much, that I put so much energy into it, and I have nothing but faith that it's going to work, and I put all the other steps into it, that it works. So meaning you can do your own rituals, you could do your own spells, you can do all this shit until you work that up, until you're able to get to that place where you've put in the programming, you put in the time and effort and energy into these things. Well, this is why those other spells and rituals come in handy, to help you get funds while you're waiting to get more, to figure out your own style. And if you don't have to, if you're okay right now and you have the time to wait, then I suggest taking up some kind of practice. So I took candle magic, because candle magic, I don't know, seems, because with every candle, you can use that candle and that incense as an offering. So with every candle that I'm putting magic on, I'm also giving an offering to somebody. That candle's for them. I paid for that candle, and I give it to whomever, whatever deity of the week, or the month, or the day, or the hour, or the, whatever the case is. Whoever I'm trying to get something from. And like I said before, I use the days of the week. So today would be Thursday, one of the best days to do a type of money magic. But maybe before you ask Jupiter for money, how about you ask for the correct emotional state of abundance? Because then once you're in abundance, the money will flow to you. Or you can just straight up ask for money, but if you're not in abundance, you're in scarcity, well, you'll get that money, and then you'll probably lose some right off the hop. And then through scarcity, you're either going to hold on to it too tight, so no more money's going to flow in, or you're just going to piss it all away, or whatever the case might be. So if you ask for the right emotional state, the right emotions, you're so grateful that you've really nailed the process of adding emotion into thought and creating and manifesting in your reality. If you ask to manifest, the process of manifestation from Jupiter, or at least to be in abundance instead of scarcity, ask him to expand your state of abundance, something like that. Then you're doing yourself a double. It's like a win-win, basically. You get the money, that's great, but then you're just going to lose it, and you have to keep casting for money. But if you ask to be in abundance, or if you ask to be able to speed up manifestation, or whatever the case is, then you're really starting to think like a witch, first of all. And second of all, it's what I did, and it fucking worked fantastic. So just some food for thought. You might want to think about doing that. That's all I'm saying. And I don't know if I'm going to record more on my way home, but if not, this is going to be the end of it. And I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you heed the advice that you can manifest whatever the hell you want. You can do your spells anytime you want. You gotta get rid of that mindset that spells are bad, we've been tricked, everything's a spell, these words have power and they're binding you. No, that's bullshit. If you're bounded by your word, then yeah, you might be binded, but for the most part, it comes down to consent and contract. When it comes to other things, it's really not the words binding you, it's the contracts, and the words allow you to enter the contract. So you gotta kind of look at it like that. But anyways, I gotta go back to work, so if I don't come back on, I hope you enjoy and have a great fucking day. Alright, so I'm back on. I'm on my way home. I'm just not gonna add too much more of that. Just the last thought about the binding and the contract and all that. You are bounded by your own words, okay? So I kind of stated that wrong. So meaning, once again though, it comes down to the other stuff that I talk about. It comes down to the emotion and the mindset. So, for example, if you are somebody who's just starting this and you're in scarcity or something to that effect, and your mindset is, you know, you want to believe in magic, you want magic to work, you want to start, you know, doing reject, deny, all that shit, but you're more of a negative person all the time and you have a pessimistic attitude. So if you have a pessimistic attitude and you don't believe that this is going to work, so your emotions that you're putting off are that of, you have no faith in you. So you can say like, oh, I'm so grateful I got $3,000. But you have no, the emotion you're putting out is the opposite emotion. And your mindset is one of a pessimistic view that it's not going to happen because you haven't got that programming in your mind yet that you have that potential to be able to do this. You haven't watched enough stuff that shows you proof that this is possible. You haven't read enough stuff that shows you that this has been done in all the older times, the magical school systems. This is what they taught. If you don't have none of that, then you are not those words that you're saying that I'm grateful that I have $3,000, you're not binded to them because you're not doing the rest of the stuff correctly. However, at that point, you're binded to those negative emotions. The faithlessness that you have is binding you. The words and your self-talk in your head that this is never going to work, and I'm never going to manifest this because that's, you know, what you've been programmed to know, and you don't believe in this stuff, and this is only true in movies. Well, you are binded to that, okay? That's a better way of thinking of it. And that's something you need to change. You need to change that so that you can now be unbounded by that. It's nobody that, well, I mean, in a manner of speaking, somebody did it to you. Whoever taught you, programmed you. You know, like the people that told my grandma that her powers were of the devil. They changed something beautiful, a gift that she had, and they changed it into something bad. So they programmed her to not do that, and, you know, maybe she didn't believe that her powers were actually of the devil, but they definitely made her feel bad enough to not try to use it as much. And then, you know, she figured out her own reasons why it's probably not good to go around telling people what may or may not happen to them. But regardless of all that, all I wanted to add to this was, when it comes to your contracts with people and things like that, yeah, your word binds you to it. When you sign those terms of contract, then you're binded to that. And then if you default on whatever's happening, then there's penalties put in place, and, you know, there's ways around that. You have to be clever. But when it comes to you and what's going on in your life right now, you're trying to lose weight. And even though you're saying an affirmation every day, this is the reason why you say affirmation so much, because eventually it's got to get into your head that this is possible and this can happen for you. But at the moment, if you only have the opposite emotion that you were never going to lose weight, you have, you know, you're saying that you are grateful you lost weight, but you're really thinking that you're never going to lose this weight and this is hopeless, and your actions are not of let's go exercise and let's go walk instead of driving. There are, fuck it, what's the point, I'm just going to go get Dairy Queen anyways. Well, then you are bounded by those actions and you are manifesting yourself to not lose weight. I hope I'm trying to make this clear. But the point is, until you change those actions and change those thoughts and change that emotion, you are not going to have success. You have to change those three things. You have to start, you know, you don't have to do big action. If you're trying to lose weight, you could probably just walk all the places that's possible to walk, you know, without like killing yourself, right? You're trying to walk to another city that's like 100 kilometers away. It's kind of silly, but, you know, walking to your corner store, walking, doing extra walking, and you add that to the emotion that you know you're going to fucking lose weight, and to thoughts and spell work and candle magic. You start doing that and you will lose the weight, and you have action there. You're actually walking places. You're refusing to take the car. Maybe you cut out junk food. You start off, maybe if you're eating junk food every day, you start by cutting out junk food every second day. That's 2 huge actions you're taking, which are already going to help you lose weight, plus everything else. You're changing your mindset. That's what I mean, and that was the focus of this whole video, because I might not be talking about specific spells you can do, but I'm trying to get people to get the right mindset, the right way to think about it, the right psychology and philosophies behind the concepts that I talk about. And that is just as, or if not more important, because when you have those, you can make your own spells. So when I say you're binded by your own words, because I kind of said you're not binded by your own words, and then I listened to it, I'm like, wait a minute, that's kind of inaccurate. You are binded by your own words, but it's not the words itself, it's the emotion mixed with the action and the words. So, because you can say 1,000 times today that you are so grateful that you lost 100 pounds, but if you say twice, I'm never gonna fucking lose weight, with emotion and even a visualization that of you never losing weight, you keep picturing yourself, keep looking at yourself in the mirror and being disappointed, that doesn't help. Then it doesn't matter if you say that shit 1,000,000 times, it ain't gonna do fuck all, because your emotion and your thoughts and your action are on the opposite polarity that you don't want to be in. And you are binded by that polarity that you're in. So that's the formula you have to get right. Anyways, I hope I made that more clear, and I connected the last part that I said wrong with the entire video. So with that, I'm just going to end it and say I hope you enjoyed this shit, and thank you everybody for watching and doing the shit you do, like subscribe and leave comments and like and all that crap, and just simply viewing. I appreciate it all, and I hope y'all get everything you fucking want, and you start doing this shit, and you start changing your life, and you manifest everything you fucking need, because you can. And you are powerful. But I'm not saying that to get you to feel good. I'm saying that because I need you to believe it, so you can start fucking doing this process. Because just knowing you're powerful but then not doing anything about it is fucking useless. Anyways, have yourself a great fucking day.